After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Welcome to this edition of Dufferin Life. I'm your host, Teena Avery. Thank you so much for joining us. So we have a special guest on the show today. I'm very excited to have her here. We actually knew each other before this, but I'm so super excited. She worked on a documentary called The Ray of Hope. Rathika, thank you so much for joining me.
So great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to talk about this because when there was some special news, which I'm not going to tell you about yet. We can't reveal it all right at the beginning. So let's talk about Ray of Hope and what it's about, and let's start there.
Okay. Well, Ray of Hope is a documentary film that uses my life story, some of my life story, and my voice and international platform to weave in the stories of many others as well, to really tell the stories of survival, escape, and then coming to Canada and starting anew of Tamils, because we are on the receiving end of a genocide, and we're survivors of genocide, and it really is the first documentary film in English as well that tells the world about the genocide of Tamils, and we take it in a way that isn't so gory and talking of war, but really people sharing their lived experiences, and because I'm also a dancer, we weave in the art form into the storytelling of the movie.
Okay, and I mean, I think that's really important, and why I'm glad that you're here is because it's about creating awareness.
Absolutely.
And when you just said it's not necessarily about the really scary, gory parts, but it talks about the personal experiences.
Absolutely.
And I think that oftentimes is the best way to illustrate and create awareness for something.
Absolutely. And really, war and surviving this type of conflict is the story that so many Canadians have lived. And that is the story of many migrant Canadians. And so many can relate. Just because of it's me sharing my story or my lived experience, and then Sudha sharing hers and her father's experiences, and Colin's sharing his and his family's experiences. And at some point, anybody and everybody has a way to say, that's kind of like my story.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's about getting the world to know, bringing awareness to the plight of Tamils, and to kind of understand why are there so many Tamils here in Canada and abroad around the world.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about how this project originated.
Okay, so it was a long time ago. It was actually in 2013 when I was a sitting member of Parliament. I decided maybe that was probably the safest time for me to travel to Sri Lanka. So it's Tamils on the island nation that's still known as Sri Lanka are on the receiving end of a genocide. And I was born there, left as a 5-year-old, and had never gone back.
Okay.
And because I had credible threats to my life.
Wow.
By the government of the country. And so I was like, yeah, I'm never going back. But while I was a sitting member of Parliament, I figured it was the safest time for me to travel. I figured it would be not too smart on their part to try and kill me.
Right.
Because it would become a global incident, and it would just make my point a stronger point that they're not a safe government.
Right.
So I figured, all right, let me go. Okay. And a friend of mine, Ryan Singh, I knew was a filmmaker, and I was traveling alone at that point. That was my plan. And I was like, hey, buddy, I want a digital camera to take with me so I can grab some stuff to put on my YouTube channel and grab my own firsthand experience. What camera should I buy? And his answer was, well, if you can afford it, take me with you and I'll
Right.
bring my camera, my filmmaking camera and sound equipment and whatnot with me, and we can make something bigger out of it. We
Okay.
can do something with it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I packed him up in my suitcase and took him with me.
Which worked out perfectly.
Which worked out perfectly. Yeah, I mean, we had a very interesting time. We was basically 6 days under siege.
Really?
When I was there. We were under surveillance from the time I left Pearson. It was obvious because even when we had layovers and we changed aircrafts, the same two people were always in eyeshot of me.
Oh, wow.
Always in eyeshot
That's
of me.
frightening. That alone is just
It was.
terrifying,
It
yeah.
absolutely was terrifying. And Ryan, at that time, had his wife and young twins, little toddlers, and he left them and was like, okay, I hope I come back.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And it was my responsibility to make sure that he was going to be okay and get back. And so it was definitely terrifying. I had never lived through a police interrogation before. I mean, I grew up in Canada where it was police are safe.
Yes,
They're
yeah.
there to help.
To help you, yeah.
To help, not to abuse you, not to just, intimidate you. That was my understanding growing up, even though I had a fear of uniforms and stuff from my early childhood experience. I started to get to the point of police are trustworthy, whereas that's not the case.
Right.
I had the Criminal Intelligence Division, the Immigration Division, the Terrorist Intelligence Division on our tail all the time. And at one point I was visiting an ice factory and they decided to do a field interrogation
Oh my goodness.
of me. We do talk about it in the film a little bit, so I hope that your viewers would be able to watch the film and really get to learn more about the reality.
Wow. I mean, I'm literally almost speechless, which everyone who watches the show knows that's rare.
I've met you before.
She knows that I'm a little bit chatty. I wonder why I do this type of thing. But no, I mean, that is like, you hear things through the news and you hear things on the internet and,
Right.
But you hear bits and pieces here and there and you're like, oh, it's bad there, but you don't really understand it until you have somebody sitting in front of you telling you, this is exactly what happened when I went there, and this is what's happening to people that are there now.
But imagine if this is what happened to me, a Canadian. I don't have Sri Lankan citizenship.
Right.
I'm a Canadian citizen and a sitting federal member of Parliament of Canada. Yet this is how they treated me. Then imagine how they treat their locals. Like the locals are, every single person I came in contact with was interrogated individually after I left. Yeah,
Wow.
there's this thing called, the fourth floor is what they call it. I'm translating obviously from Tamil, and that's where they take people and interrogate them. And every single person I came into contact was taken and interrogated.
Wow. That's incredible.
And they don't have the freedoms that I do and the privilege of just getting on an airplane and leaving.
And leaving, right.
But yeah, and people live looking over their shoulders all the time. There was a group of people we had met with who I was like, oh, can we take a picture together afterward? And they're like, no. Okay. Can we take a picture of just our feet sitting in a circle? Just the feet? No, they might identify us from our feet.
Wow.
No recording, no nothing, just talk, learn the reality of the situation and leave. And we had to go under the cover of night. Like cars had to turn off their engine before they could arrive at the destination, so nobody could know where people were meeting.
And this is no pun intended, it sounds like a movie. Right? Like not a documentary, but a movie that you would watch.
That was our experience when we went in 2013. And in 2022 is when we actually did a lot of the principal footage, where we captured the interviews and got people to share their lived experiences. And even some people we interviewed, after they did the interviewing, they backed out a couple days later going, I still have family there. I don't know if it's safe for them if I'm in the movie, so can you please not use my stuff?
Right.
After 2 days of filming them, they would say, don't use, I don't feel safe anymore. Can you not use me? And so this was the constant, is people even though they're safe Canadian citizens, are still living in fear. And in the film, you'll see there were 2 people who were anonymous. We have Anonymous A and Anonymous B as participants because they're scared for their own lives or their family members' lives.
We could talk about this for hours, and I fear that we're running close to the end of time. So the end of our time. So I want to just touch on the exciting news that you had about this documentary and the
Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Oh, that is exciting news.
Yes.
It was super exciting that our little documentary that we started off so small, and it's a small group of people who really came together, and we qualified for the Academy Awards.
That's amazing.
The 97th Academy Awards, which is super exciting. We are also going to be available on one of the Canadian networks for Canadians to watch. I'm not allowed to say which one yet.
Right, understood.
But we'll make sure that when it's available, I'll let you know, and you can let your viewers know for sure. And it's just really exciting. We've received over 30 awards from film festivals all over the world. We premiered in London, England at the Romford Film Festival, won Best Documentary, and we've been doing really well, and it's been just, my heart is just filled with gratitude that this film that we made, sharing our stories and telling our truths, is getting the light of day, and it's actually falling into people's laps, and people are able to hear our lived experiences, hear us sharing our stories. And I really do hope that we'll be able to get more awareness of the reality of Tamils, and we're able to continue to thrive as a community globally and continue to help and support the people who have to live on the island still.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why you're here. It's all about creating awareness, educating people, and just kind of making them aware of things that you may not have heard and may not have seen. And, you know, one of our own community members has gone through all of this and done so well with all her heart behind it, because it's so important to create that awareness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just have a couple minutes left, and we want to talk about the Heritage Month. So let's make sure that we can talk about that as well.
Absolutely. So January every year is proclaimed as Tamil Heritage Month, and it's exciting for me because when I was in Parliament, I introduced that bill, and we didn't get it passed then, but that's okay. We have it now. We celebrate Tamil Heritage Month across this country, and in Ontario and many provinces, it's actually been deemed Tamil Heritage Month as well. So it's taught in schools, and even my daughter's school is going to be celebrating it. And so it's really exciting that locally here in Orangeville as well, we are celebrating Tamil Heritage Month. Australia is the newest country that's come on board.
Oh,
so
amazing.
It's very exciting to have Tamil Heritage Month being recognized and celebrated in all throughout Canada. And Thai Pongal is the harvest festival that is kind of aligned with why January makes sense to be Tamil Heritage Month, and it's really all about gratitude. And so again,
and I'm so glad that you said that, because I knew my pronunciation wasn't going to be wrong. I was going to be completely wrong. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna bring it up about, you know, where the basis of it is and kind of where it comes from. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness that you said that, because it wouldn't have done it justice.
Yeah. I got you.
Which I truly appreciate. So, I mean, we've talked about this. Please, I mean, look at the website. We've, educate yourselves, and it's all about creating that awareness.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that you were here. I really do appreciate your time and everything that you've done. So make sure that you're writing down that website. Don't you go anywhere, though, because we'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
I am a wild robot.
Be the first to watch the Wild Robot movie at
Home? Home.
Amazing!
Amazing.
from the studio that brought you How to Train Your Dragon.
He needs to swim and fly.
Swimming's easy. I can teach him the way my mom taught me. Swim!
That's drowning.
The Wild Robot.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Dufferin Life. Thanks so much for staying with us. And if you're tuning in, once again, you're tuning in at a great time. So, I mean, we're kind of in the beginning of the year. We're looking at a few different things, and we always think resolutions, and we always think, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to accomplish. But I think the best way, and this is my opinion, of course, is to be proactive about your health. And sometimes it's hard. You don't know where to go to find different avenues, and you need different opinions, and I'm rambling on and on, but basically what I'm talking about is the Shelburne Health and Wellness Expo. Joining me today, we have Amanda Phillip. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
And you've been on the show before, but we were discussing it. It's been quite a few years.
Yes, I think we're talking back in 2018, which would have been our second show. So now we're into our seventh. So we've come a long way since then.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about the Shelburne Health and Wellness Expo. Let's just talk basics. What is it? What can people expect?
So this year we have almost 60 vendors, and they span across different health and wellness platforms. We've got registered practitioners, chiropractors, massage therapists, that kind of thing, physiotherapists. We have alternative healers, so people who are doing Reiki, even complementary things like osteopathy, that kind of stuff, counselors, and we also have people in the fitness industry like local gyms and yoga instructors, personal trainers, and then we get into the health and wellness products. So anything from supplements to food to cleaning products, anything like that. So we've really got you covered if you're trying to make some healthy changes in 2025.
And I mean, this is the year to do it. I mean, I'm doing it personally, and I think that, and we've had this conversation before, I think, where I've told you that, and for me, it's about physical wellness as well as mental wellness. I just want to be healthy.
Yes.
And happy. And whatever that form takes, wherever I get there, how I get there, I'm certainly a lot healthier and happier than I was, even a couple of years ago. And it's a process. But having an event like this and having all of these professionals and individuals that have all these different mediums of how they can help you, I think is a great place to start for people. Yes,
that's one of the reasons why it was started, really, is because we noticed, my co-founder, Leanne Williams, I do it on my own now, but she and I started it together. We noticed a lot of the same questions coming up. Where can I find? Who can recommend? That kind of thing. And people were, asking the same questions. It's like, you know what, we really need a one-stop shop so that people in Shelburne and the surrounding areas know what's available for their health and wellness right in town or within a short drive. And I mean, it makes it very convenient. If you have questions, or if Amanda may have mentioned something that you don't know what it is. This is your opportunity to go out and speak to somebody where you don't have to make an appointment, and then you find out it's not anything about what you're looking for, or maybe it is. But this is your opportunity to go out and speak to all of these professionals. Yep, and we've actually had some great feedback from the community. I see comments on our social media all the time, this is my favorite event, or I met so many practitioners or health professionals now who are part of my family's normal health schedule, which I think is fantastic. And we also have 4 workshops. Okay. So that's another opportunity to kind of experience what some of the local vendors are offering and see if that's something that might help with your own health and wellness goals. Absolutely. So we should probably tell you when and where. Of course.
Or not.
Well,
maybe we should, yeah.
Saturday, January the 18th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. and we're up at Center Dufferin District High School in Shelburne. So yeah, we've got vendors, we've got our workshops. It's going to be a great day.
So that's happening this weekend. So
next weekend.
Yeah, no,
this
it's
weekend?
happening this weekend. You know, mark your calendars, look on social media, share it with people. I mean, if you've got friends that are talking about, you know, I've got friends that are like, oh, this hurts, or oh, that hurts, or I did this. You know what? You need to tell them to pop into Shelburne and check this out for sure.
Yeah.
So why, I mean, we kind of touched on it, but let's talk about why you feel it's important to have an event like this.
I think it's really important for people to focus on their health. I mean, people are starting to, I think, come around to the understanding of better nutrition, for example, eating whole foods, maybe cutting out some processed foods. We're starting to realize, well, we're kind of sedentary. You know, we don't really move as much as humans are supposed to move. Oh, we're not getting outside as much as we're supposed to. And then we start to feel the effects of the lifestyle choices that we're making. And so when we can come to an event like this and you go around and you speak to the vendors, and you know, maybe they might sort of start getting you to think about things, and oh, maybe I might want to change that, or you know what, I haven't been feeling so great lately, and what can I do to improve that? Another thing that I noticed too is really on top of people's minds is longevity.
Yes.
And having good health for a long time. Something like functional fitness, which is sort of an up and coming, oh, you know, when you're doing a squat or when you're like lifting a heavy weight, how can that come into play when you're in your later years?
Yes.
Can you know, get off the couch? Can you lift your groceries? And these are things we don't think about when we're in our 30s and 40s until it starts to become a problem.
Until you're in your 50s and you're like, wait a minute, what was that? Because it happens, right?
Yes, I used to be able to do the 8-bag carry. Now I can only do 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and it's better to be proactive and think about these things before they start to become a problem.
Yes, like absolutely. I mean, I will be honest, I was not very proactive with my health for a lot of years. You know, and then when my mom got sick, and even before, like the years leading up to her getting sick, excuse me, you know, I looked at the way she was living the last few years of her life, and I thought, you know what, that's not how I want to live. And you don't necessarily want to wait until you're in your 40s and 50s to make that realization, because you can do much better being proactive earlier in your life. But that being said, it's never too late.
No.
You know, there's always that opportunity to increase the quality of your life, because you don't want the longevity without the quality.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I think a lot of things we do now, we can increase your longevity, but then what is the quality of life that you're living? So why not learn how to make that quality better? Why not learn to have the healthiest possible life that you can?
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to organize an event where, you know, people can come and start implementing some of these strategies into their life today.
Yeah, and I think, and that's it. You don't want to wait. What are you waiting for? Don't wait, because, you know, you don't want to wait until you get a bad diagnosis. You don't want to wait until you find that you can't do something that you used to be able to do. You really do, and we've said proactive about 50 times already, but I mean, it's all about being proactive and really looking past where you are today. Because when you're younger, you're always like, it's going to be fine, it's going to be great. You know, you look at somebody in their 50s or 60s and you're like, they're old and that's why they feel like that. But you're going to be here before you know it. You know what I mean? Like it does. It goes by quickly as you get older. And it's not, it is a lot about your health, but it's also about the experiences you have. And you can't continue to have experiences and make your life joyful if you don't have your health. I feel like I just should step off my soapbox right now, but
oh, no.
I mean, it's just it's so important, and you know, and I'm going through the process myself. Like I've lost a lot of weight, I still have more weight to lose, and it's not just about what that number is on the scale. Right?
Oh no,
it's about your overall
not.
Health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Muscle tone, you know, what is our strength? What is our functionality? That kind of thing. And even coming into play with that, like one of our workshops, for example, focuses on living well with osteoarthritis. We know that at any age, you know, people in their 40s, 50s, 60s are dealing with issues like that. And so David Egbert from Shelburne Physio is coming, and he's going to give a talk about you know, being diagnosed with osteoarthritis, and then how to manage it, what programs are available, what opportunities are there for people like that, for people who are dealing with that. So it's not, you know, an end of the world diagnosis. It's something that can, you know, you can keep living well with that kind of diagnosis.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head, living well.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about living well. And I think that, you know, the more we talk about it, the more we create awareness, the more lovely people that make these types of shows and events that you can come out and see, it's all for your own benefit.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, I had people come last year to our event. They'd never been before, and they were shocked. You know, I can't believe all this is available, or I can't believe the people I've talked with today, and you know, I didn't know this was here, or I didn't know this was a thing, you know, that could help me. And yeah, it's, I don't know. I really enjoyed being able to create an event that, as we were discussing earlier, creates community. So community among the health and wellness professionals in the area, and then giving the local residents an opportunity to come and share in that community.
Yeah, and I mean, it's grown exponentially since the last time you were here. You said what, over 60 vendors?
Yeah, we have about 60 vendors coming out this year, yes, plus the 4 workshops. Everything is free. The workshops are free. There's no entry to get in, so it's just like,
it's just the perfect place to be when you know, and even if you're not, even if you don't have an ailment or you're not feeling bad, or, you know, you're very, very healthy, there are things that you can do for your mental health, for your overall physical well-being. Just something that gives you that warm, happy, fuzzy feeling like, yeah, I'm healthy, I'm good, but this is going to help me a little bit more.
Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of vendors who are offering things like nature walks, offering like spiritual well-being, meditation. That's another one of our workshops. It's about meditation for beginners. Even things that we might not think about on a daily basis, trauma, things that we're carrying with us, emotional things that we don't think about, but they're still there.
Yeah.
You know, we have vendors who can help with that. We actually have a couple of workshops that can help with that. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a great event for people to come out to, especially in January, because we're all sort of over the Christmas excitement. You know, it's a dark time of year. It's cold.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of have something to look forward to that is, you know, happy and kind of gives us hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important, and not everybody has the mentality or in that mental state where you need happy. You need to feel like yourself, and we do. There's no way to get rid of all of your stress. And we're running out of time, so I'm going to get off my soapbox. But I mean, please go out to the event and see what you might not even know is there, or find what you've been looking for and didn't know where to find it. Right?
That's great.
Yeah. That's
a great summary. I love it.
Absolutely. And she doesn't pay me to do her marketing. I don't know why. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, Amanda, thank you so much for coming on the show. And, you know, good luck with the event, as it's going to continue to grow and continue to help people and create that sense of community that you want.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to have been here.
I am thrilled as well. Thank you for joining us. As always, bye-bye for now. I almost forgot.